All right, all right, all right. So as promised, the Stiletto Talks Wealth is giving you a preview of March 25th from 11 to 3. These ladies are busy. They are bosses. We have the gentlemen too. Matter of fact, we have a gentleman with the children right now. So we have active entrepreneurs who are doing life, but they are pausing and taking time out on Saturday to share with you tips, tools, and tricks. If you are not aware of who I am Paula Johnson Hutchinson, and I am the CEO of the Stiletto Talks LLC. And we create collaborative, safe spaces for women, be it lifestyle, be it education. We want to make sure you have what you need in a safe space. So I am excited to have each and every lady that is on here right now representing their companies, their niche. And we're going to talk to you a little bit tonight about how money, when we talk about wealth in money and effort, and we talked about before we started recording that it can be potty mouth words, discipline, all the things. But I want you to know that we have researched and watched quietly from afar these awesome people. They come highly recommended. They come ready to teach you, to give you everything that you need if you want it, in a safe space from 11 to 3 on Saturday. So I'm going to get them to go clockwise. I'm going to start with Adrian because looking at my screen, Adrian is beneath me. And then we'll just go from there. But we're going to go around and tell you who everybody's going to introduce themselves and talk about what their niche is and, why they're excited to see you on Saturday.
Yes. Well, thank you, Paula, for having me. It's a privilege. And then I'm like sidelining with the best, right? So it's going to be a good time come Saturday. We got us beautiful women and the husband speaking on some of the matters that can help elevate our society. So what I do is I am a business and tax strategist. I am co-owner of DNA Financial Solutions, and I co-own this with my son. And I love what I do. The taxes, maybe not so much. I'm dealing with the nefarious the IRS. However, what I love to do is taking an entrepreneur and actually making them legit. And I always ask, what's your next 2 years goals? And we're going to go ahead and make sure one of the most important transactions is laid out so you can get the house, so you can get that business funding, and that we can have the financial documents in place. So if it ever calls that you need to present yourself, you can actually get what you need and, get the desired outcomes, which is the gateway to wealth. So just getting your financial documents aligned involves more than taxes. It's going from the infancy stage of your business to the adulting stage. So I always like to tell my clients, what we doing? Are we rinsing and repeating? Are we up here putting the stuff in the dryer, taking it out, folding it, and doing something? So I always like to provide words of encouragement. And then I have this thing where if you're in my office, you're going to get this love and life poured into you, because while we have the logistics like discipline, I'm always about the mind. How are we feeling about ourselves in the mind is going to predicate how we're going to be moving in this three-dimensional world. So that's it. That's me.
Cerita, I can see you next. So if you can introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited about this. I feel like when it comes to women and minorities and finances and homeownership, that is like my wheelhouse. It's what I love to talk about, and I could probably talk your ear, arm, and feet off about it. But my name is Cerita Edwards. I am a senior loan officer with Movement Mortgage. I have been helping people finance their dream homes for the past 12 years. I work with not only 9-to-5ers, I also work with self-employed business owners, not only in buying like your primary residence, but honestly, and I believe in the power of real estate and wealth. And I believe that building an actual real estate portfolio is where true legacy for your family comes from. So that's where my heart is. I don't know. I fell into this accidentally, if I'm being honest. My background was in broadcast news. I thought I wanted to be on TV, and I fell into finance, and I haven't looked back. So I'm just really excited to pour into anybody who wants to hear about how my husband and I, who's not on here right now, he is dealing with our kids, but how we have built everything, how we lost everything, and how we built it back up again, because it really is about hope, faith, and belief. And like Adrian said, the first thing when building something is the mind. If you don't have your mind right, you're not gonna get anywhere. So I'm just excited to be here. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Paula, for having this. This is just an incredible platform.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm just so excited. I am the host, but I am also a student. So I know I'm there. I got a lot of questions. And of course, without further ado, we have Kaneka. Kaneka has not missed Stiletto Talks event in Arizona ever. Maybe one, maybe. But she does not miss. And this year, she has grown her business to the point of being a sponsor. So she's on the sponsorship level now. So she helps to navigate the space of what she feels like we need to put together in the community. She is very vocal. She will fill out a survey. She will call you and let you have it. I'm gonna let her introduce herself and her brands. And I'm going on mute.
Hello, everybody. I am Kaneka Trotter. I am the CEO and founder of Ageless Connections. And wonderful, Cerita is my preferred mortgage lender. And then her wonderful husband is also my business partner with West USA, because I'm also a realtor. So in this space, I'm your geriatric guru, your marketing expert. I'm a consultant with anything senior. So if it comes to dementia, Alzheimer's, and then transitioning. So it's great that we're figuring out how to get those houses, how to get the financial literacy in our culture and our people. But then what happens when grandma and grandpa retire? What is the next level of care for them? And then how do we transition them to get the loving and care that we have, keeping our houses or selling them? What is a refinance mortgage? All those things and answers will be answered. So just anything senior, I'm here to help, and just a great team with us that will be there to help on Saturday. And I'm excited for it all.
I am just so excited and honored that the stars, the Most High always aligns me with people that truly care about the community. And I tell you ladies all the time that there are giants that live right among you. You don't have to go far. You don't have to go way on the East Coast or way down south where I'm originally from. They are right here in the valley, to your left, to your right. They're in front of you and they're behind you. They are all around you. So I want to share with you a little bit of how this even came about, because normally when we're together, y'all know we have the days out. We like to eat. We like to celebrate one another, our wins. We just honored some ladies. Kaneka was one of our honorees this past year. And we honor women in the community, and that's great. But also we've been called to some, we get a lot of emails about women being in transition. The real topic, I would say, a conversation is not being brought up, is how much the pandemic has changed the finances of people. People don't talk about it. They post lots of memes. You can kind of tell maybe somebody that may need help. People have tried to go into business for themselves, but now they're kind of back in the workplace because they need the work benefits. They may be in between both. Their parents got older during this time. I was one of those people that all of that happened to me. So when you become a dualpreneur, when you're expanding your portfolio, you're changing your language. That's not a side hustle. You got to pay taxes on that. So that's not a hustle. That is you now are diversifying your portfolio. So when your language change, as Adrian and Cerita brought up, your mind, now your mind has to change, and you are thinking more about legacy. And with the recession, the pandemic, and all the things, and all the banks crashing, I'm sure you all see it, and they then come back with maybe some type of gossip news to persuade you to look somewhere else. You need to look back at finance. Finance often is, if you look historically, from books from The Color of Law to anything else out there, this is where we constantly have this challenge where the wealth gap continues, mainly because we don't want to obtain the knowledge, or we don't feel comfortable where the knowledge may be at. So in this case, this is about making sure that you are in a safe space to ask the questions that you want to ask, to have a diverse panel to give you that information. They're sharing with you their transparency. They're sharing their wins, their losses, and their comebacks, because ultimately that is the reality of what's going on right now. I don't care what people post on social media, people are not what they post to be. And I'm gonna say that again, they are not what they post
Ah,
to be.
I
A
like
cute
that.
meme does not equate to you are being financially sound. Your car break and now you got to take Uber for 2 months is not the same as you having money for emergencies. That's not the same. If you inbox me with a GoFundMe, that's not the same as you being financially sound. If you don't understand what your IRAs are doing, if you don't understand what your 401k is doing, if you don't understand markets and maybe some predictions, if you don't understand the language or the lingo, we have people to help you. And then for all of you that started these quote unquote side hustles, which is really a business, diversify your portfolio during the pandemic. Now, eventually, we make a lot of money in these side businesses and hustles or whatever you want to call it. But whatever you call it, the IRS calls it income, taxable income. So just know how, whatever you're labeling it, you need to make sure you have someone with you so that you don't get caught slipping, because eventually you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to answer to that. Or if that is something that you're building that's supposed to be legacy, because we have to watch what we say. You're saying this is legacy for you and your family. Are you truly setting it up where it can be for you and your family? Or are you just making a cute post of the day hoping for 50 likes? So these are two different animals. And so I want to make sure that when you get in the building, you know that the people we're bringing are experts in their field. They know what they're talking about. And our goal is to make sure that we leave no sister behind when it comes to finances. This has never been a better time to be a minority woman. We are everywhere. We in the Supreme Court with locks. We are everywhere. We are getting Crown Act signed. I was there on Friday, front and center. Just with my glasses on there, and so things are changing. But the problem with wealth is that we're staying in one spot. We have little sprinkles of us coming up, but people are giving you information wide open, and we're not taking the time to grab that low-hanging fruit. Wealth is becoming low-hanging fruit in our community, but you got to actually physically reach out and grab it and do the discipline to hold it. So that's what this is about. So yes, we're gonna still have fun, and you get to exchange your cards and hug on one another and kiss. I love when we come together. We always have a good time. It's nothing like it. We take good pictures, we make cute videos and all that. But my main concern this year is to make sure that we realistically talk about the wealth gap, talk about employment gaps, talk about legacy gaps. You may or may not be ready. It happened to my family, and I'm being very transparent with you. We weren't looking for my mother to become ill with pancreatic cancer. And when it happened, my mother became with pancreatic cancer, sold her house, came to live with me 1,400 miles away, decided not to do hospice, be placed in hospice, and then ultimately passed away within a 13-month time. So that's a different animal. Can you keep your house going? Can you keep things moving? Or when your portfolio is diversified, when your parents are aging, we're raising our nephew. Most people that are around me know my story with that. So I'm telling you about things that happen in real life. I'm not talking about what happened on these little posts when y'all doing all these cute posts like this, these little Olin Mills posts.
Right.
I'm talking about real life, when real life come at you. And if you're in your 40s and getting close to that age, you're going to notice your parents are getting older. They may or may not have their business together. Your children may still need you a lot longer because they have more debt being in school, or they may still be trying to figure life out and may be more dependent on you. And often many of us have our children intertwined in our businesses. So whatever that looks like for you, you need to have sound advice. And then real estate. Everybody want to sell real estate and flip houses. Y'all watch these DIY shows. Y'all get excited and things. And then you realize you got to pay taxes. Who owns it? Is it you, your cousin, and your brother twice removed? Who owns the property? Knowing how to obtain that wealth and have self-producing income, meaning your language needs to change. So these ladies are here, and gentlemen, because we have Brandon, are going to be there to teach you really about what that looks like in our community. Because without the knowledge, the wealth gap just continues to grow. And with digital access now, and now that we are obtaining wealth worldwide, because we can go shop worldwide with in finances, all of these things, you have to think about taxes, you have to think about your goals, and where does all of this, all the things you want, align where your goals are straight, but that you have the contacts that can advise you. Because often, many counselors, much success. I know we have a lot of Christians, a lot of people that love the Bible on here. So the scripture, many counselors, much success. Also, people perish for a lack of knowledge. When we don't have any knowledge, we just go down in flames and we go fast. So being from the South, knowing that so many things have from like Hurricane Katrina and watching people just lose generation to generation to generation. A lot of people miss that opportunity to obtain wealth in real estate. They miss that opportunity to obtain wealth in having a business. And you see it now with their children, they're having to start all over again. And now the parents are about 20 years older. So I'm telling you from experience, you need to get the information now and start thinking about and having a plan for your house. They're not telling you about what to do at their house. They're telling you what to do at your house with your money, where it is right now based on the goals you want. So this is not a sales scheme. I know people are like, y'all selling something? You selling something? We're not selling nothing. We're providing information, hope, and access. That's it. So with a sliver of food and good love, sisterly love. So that's what we're going with this. And so I have a couple of questions because some of you have sent in some stuff already. Y'all ready? Adrian, the main question I get is, when will they have to file taxes on their business in the state of Arizona? How long can they wait? Even if they have a job, how long can they wait?
This year, the tax filing deadline is April 18th. April 18th is also the tax filing deadline for C Corps. The first tax deadline has passed, and that was for partnerships and S Corps. And a lot of people have told me that they did not realize that if they are in partnership, that's a separate return. A lot of people are doing business together. They got joint banks accounts together, but that was due on March 15th. So if you're one of those people, you definitely need to see your tax advisor pronto, because penalties occur day by day, like, the interest and all of that. So those are the major deadlines coming up. If you do not have your paperwork together, I would say go ahead and file an extension, because doing a correct tax return, a peaceful tax return instead of rushed, is better than just trying to get it done by the deadline. Therefore, you can work with someone. They can also educate you in the process if you're a business owner, and then it can be goal oriented, depending on how you want that tax return to be positioned.
The second question we got regarding where your expertise falls into place is about entrepreneurship. Should entrepreneurs continue to do their own books, or should they seek out someone, especially if they are, starting to have their business starting to increase? What is your advice for that?
So I do understand, like in the very beginning, there's a lot of DIY things that go on. But I also know that if you at least invest in 1 year of a professional who specializes in business and tax strategy, then make sure that you at least have the working knowledge. Now, the interesting thing is, if you're growing as an entrepreneur, you're going to do what you do and specialize in what you do, and then you would enlist someone else to do what they do. I will be transparent. I don't do my own books.
Good.
I actually outsource that because my job is to actually help others. So I have team members do my bookkeeping. I have a team member who specializes that the same people, the same staff members that help my clients are the same staff members that do my stuff. So I'd say enlist a professional, make sure that you can have those conversations, and just let them know what your next 2 years are going to look like in business and personal.
That is great advice. See, we going legit in 23. We are going legit. Cerita, so our question for you, and thank you again. I know you all are in between basketball practice, probably you and Kaneka, y'all are running with the basketball kids and stuff. So certainly appreciate you both for doing double time. The question that we got the most is real estate. Is there really a way to invest in real estate and gain self-producing income without investing a lot of money?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We get it a lot. In terms of buying, you're talking about in terms of buying an investment property. Yes, so starting out, what people need to realize is starting out is you can't have zero skin in the game when it comes to buying investment properties, not primary residence. There's a lot of different programs that can get you into a house with very little money. But in terms of investment properties, you can't have zero skin in the game. So normally starting out, if you're a first time investor, I tell people, listen, it's anywhere from 10 to 20 to 25% down, right? Which is a lot of money, especially if we're talking about in Arizona. That's a lot of money. A hack that I love, and Brandon and I did not do this, but it is one I preach and preach and preach, is it's called house hacking, where you buy a multifamily unit, right? Fourplex, duplex, triplex, whatever that is. You do it using FHA financing, which only allows you to put down 3.5% of the purchase price. Then you rent out the other units, right? Stay there for a year, live in it, become a landlord, see what it's like for people to request all the things. Then what happens a year later, your home, God willing, has equity in it for you to then rent your unit out and buy another property. So then you're walking into, and say you bought a 4-unit at first, next go look for a triplex, which is 3 doors, right? Do the same thing. You can use the same FHA financing and do it again. What I love about it is with FHA financing, you're only allowed one FHA loan at a time. But when you refinance that original property out of FHA into a conventional loan, that allows you to then buy your next property using FHA financing. When you look back after doing this a few times, you'll turn around and realize you have 7, 9, 10 doors. And you're like, you'll mess around and become an investor on accident. So that is my biggest house hack when it comes to, don't think about, oh, today I'm going to go buy a single family residence and put 20% down. No, there's a better way. How about we figure out how to get you into your home, and buy a multifamily unit, which I love. So so I hope that answered your question. Yes, you can get into something with little down, but it depends on the strategy we're looking at.
Love that. And again, that is advice. So that's not you on Google. I love Google University. It's not talking about no Google. We're talking about true advice from people who take the time to research, and these are tried and proven hypothesis theories. These are not kind of like I just can't say Miss Cleo, but I guess Miss Cleo, like back in the day, you just hope for, someone to give you some type of theory and hope work for the best. But these are tried and proven methods that are legit. It won't have you on the news, all right? Because sometimes people do that and they realize that they're scammed, and then they spend more time focusing on, oh, I got scammed, than your original goal, which is to gain wealth.
Yeah. Paula, can I say one thing really quick? Yeah. In terms of like real estate too, I just want to let people know it's not like what's on TV, how you're talking about. It really is, real estate as a long-term game. And you're not going to become rich overnight. Like most equity and wealth in real estate is built by holding onto the property for years. So it's a slower game. Yes, we can talk about fix and flips and all that kind of thing, but that's a higher tax. Adrian will tell you that's a higher tax liability unless you 1031 exchange it and other things. But real estate is a long-term game. So I want you to think of it. It's a side hustle, but it's a long-term hustle. Like you don't do it to say, oh, I'm trying to get rich next week. Like that's not real estate. So I just always want to preface that, because you see a lot of stuff on TV and get bad advice on Instagram and TikTok and there's a lot of good people on there too, but you just don't know what to believe. So it's a long-term hustle.
Yes.
For sure.
I appreciate you for adding that extra tidbit, because that is where I was going. See, you get the professional to give the professional terms on what needs to happen with that. And then Kaneka, of course, all of us hope that we can fight off Father Time, but we know Father Time, he keeps time and he's always on time. And so the reality is we are getting older. And as people are transitioning jobs or maybe trying to discover where they are right now, what they see maybe the next chapter of their life, the next season of their life, or having to relocate or whatever that looks like for anyone, you have to think about transitioning maybe out of your home, having that extra income. Maybe you are in that middle class where you won't qualify for maybe state help as you get older, or your parents may not qualify. What is your suggestion for people? How early do they need to start?
I would say the easiest transition, I'll say our generation before us didn't do a good job. Right. And especially those that look like us, and not because that they could, it's because that they couldn't, they didn't have the opportunity to do so. And so it's really about us. And so I'm having younger conversations with like my clients' family members, right? My clients' grandkids, my clients' kids. And sometimes that puts the kids in the 50s or 60s. And sometimes the grandkids are in their 30s and 40s. And I'm like, listen, you see what's going on with grandma and grandpa. Let's not repeat this pattern. And so I try to do a 5-year lookout plan, a financial plan for them. I try to give them what it's going to look like. And then I also have a real term when it comes to, father time, right? If we're not going to do a 5-year look back, if grandma's on hospice and she has 18 months to live, let's make how do we want to spend this money? Are you giving it all to grandma and letting her go out with a bang? Or are you trying to do something with it? Is she leaving something behind? Are we using it all for grandma's care? So it's really about catching it when we can, and then just making sure that we have the best financial structures for us. And inflation's real. And I tell people pre-COVID, those prices that I used to move my little seniors in are not the same prices in 2023. And so that's a real thing. Interest rates are one thing when it comes to real estate, but inflation, when it comes to the increased cost for home care, home health, nursing, and the medical field, it really does hit the geriatric population too. So just coming up with a better financial plan, maybe doing some financial advising, maybe getting those IRAs together, those Roth IRAs. You're going to need to pull that money later in life and being able to set that stuff up.
Awesome advice. When I say I am excited, I'm glad we have the recording. This recording is going on YouTube. It's going on Instagram. It's going on all of our platforms because we just really feel that it is important that whether you're in the building or not, you need to have this information and definitely be able to connect with all of them to maybe have those extended conversations as we move into what wealth building looks like for us. And sometimes wealth isn't always money. It's just making sure that we have a surefire plan to offset maybe things that are occurring with us. Maybe it is your rent keeps escalating. That's definitely, you need to talk to Cerita. Maybe your parents are looking at, you realize now they have 2 mortgages and now they need to transition out and go into some type of nursing facility, or they're going to move with you. That would definitely, those are questions that you'll be able to ask Kaneka on Saturday. And then of course, like I said, just for entrepreneurs, those that are trying to play in both areas, or you're looking to build your financial portfolio, whether you're trying to get business credit, all of those things. To Adrian's point, you definitely need to make sure that your paperwork is legit. Even if you're trying to become a WBE, you need to have your paperwork correct, because that is one of the questions that they ask. Who is doing your paperwork? Do you have certain financials? Do you have certain things in place? And if you don't understand the terminology on there, your application could possibly be rejected, or may be delayed. So this is where Adrian would come in handy. So this is all great information. The last question that I would have for all three, we'll start with Adrian and Cerita and Kaneka. Give us the why. Why should people come see you on Saturday?
Well, they shouldn't just come see me. This is a collective effort. We are living in an Aquarian time. This is about all of us and us playing off of the knowledge that we each are going to bring. I think there's going to be a lot of crossover in the conversation. So we're not compartmentalizing the wealth conversation, right? We're talking about taxes and cash flow, and then we're going to talk about where to invest that. Then we have the knowledge of how to plan over time, how to have insight. So they should just come see us if they want some holistic wealth knowledge, just not one area. We're going to cover it all.
That's definitely the goal. That
Yes,
is definitely the
Adrian.
goal. All the things. And I'm gonna tell you too something, ladies. Other than Kaneka that is on here right now, I have never met anyone else in person. So when I tell you that this happens often, because I know they're going to be like, this happened again. Yes, this happened again. It happened with one of our books, where all the ladies, many of them I had never met before. But this is what social media does. It expands your digital portfolio. And so don't just get excited when you meet somebody in passing. Also get excited when you meet people online, because you never know who you're going to need. Who you know, it is really key, especially right now, as we do not know what the financial markets are going to do. We don't know what everybody has a different vision of what wealth looks like for them, or just stability in their homes, and it's for their children. So this is great information. Why should they come and see you and Brandon, Cerita?
Oh my gosh. Well, if you want to see what imperfection looks like when it comes to we have made all the mistakes, and if you want somebody that can relate to you when it comes to having made all the mistakes, then you want to hear Brandon and I's story. I'm not saying we are the end all be all in real estate, but we definitely know what we're talking about. And I wish my husband was on here now, because he is a plethora of knowledge when it comes to real estate and commercial. Because that is too something that we didn't even mention, but you owning a business, right? Eventually it might make sense to own your own property like Adrian does, your own brick and mortar. So what does that look like, right? This is not just let's buy you a house. We want to start at the primary residence, but we want to build this thing. So if you want to learn and hear, and you might be in the stage where you already have a primary residence and you're maybe looking to buy a second home or upgrade, or you might be in the space where you want to truly build, start really growing your investment portfolio. We're going to give it all to you. So, and I'm learning, like I'm sitting here right now learning from you three incredible individuals who, I'm a mom. I'm sitting, you guys, in this parking lot right now. Everyone has left. The basketball game's over. And I am like just thrilled that God put you guys into my life. Like, I don't know what it is, and I haven't met you, and I'm just excited to learn. So honestly, we're going to share our story, but I think this is going to be a beautiful thing. And I hope there's going to be many more to come. I hope this is the first of many.
It is. This is the Stiletto Talks Wealth series, will happen all year. And it's because we are really concerned about many of our women. They've shared, some have been very transparent of some of their challenges. And I can honestly say that some of it could have been mitigated or not even happen at all, minimized, or not even happen at all, if they had certain information or if they trusted certain people, because sometimes you are sharing everything about your wealth challenges or your financial challenges or your goals with the wrong people, and that can happen, right? And if you don't have basic information before you start even going out to try to pursue certain things, you can often find yourself not asking the questions that you needed to ask to maybe put up that red flag and say, hey, I need to go in another direction because you don't seem to be as qualified, or you may not fit what I need right now. And we see that happening a lot with the ladies. So this year we want to make sure that you have safe people that you can talk to, safe people that will answer your questions. They're going to keep it real with you. We always bring people with you. We don't care if you get mad. We want you to be well. So one thing about a true sister and a true friend doesn't care if you're mad at them. They want you to be well. So we are the strong friends that are coming through with love, yes, and to share with you that information that you need. Kaneka, what's the why? What is the why? Why do we need to know about planning ahead and seeing the future?
Because it's a must. We don't have a choice, and because state fund is awful, right? And that's not where we need to be collectively as a people. And so while we still have the time and the planning is there, Come, let's figure it out. Let's get a plan. The earlier that we plan, the better the investments, the better the longevity of life. If it is that we're just trying to stay healthy and we want to keep grandma and grandpa at home, the better planning, the earlier the better. And so the why is because we have to know, and because it's our time. Nobody knows this information that everybody else knows it. 90% of my clients that I service do not look like me. And there's a reason for that. And so now I know why. And so let's figure out a plan and make sure that everybody gets the same benefit, that everybody is living in these beautiful independent assistant memory care places, these beautiful 10,000 square foot group homes. Nobody looks like us in them. So let's change that narrative and let's get us there. Let's do financial planning the correct way. And it starts now, not when we're retired, not at 65, when we're going to go into those homes at 75. It literally starts right now at the late 30s, starts at 40. It's never too early, 25. I don't care. Come check us out and figure out how to do the best investments for your life until retirement.
I like what you said. And what all of you said, just everybody's life looks different. If you told me that I would have retired from behind the chair at 30 years, when in my mind I thought I would be there to at least 40 or 45 years, I'm telling you, life happens. Your health may change. Your situation may change. We moved from Louisiana all the way to Arizona. That was a culture shock, life changes, and then we had many family members. And I've been very transparent about that with you all at every event we have. Life happens. And I'm telling you this because it's also been my story. You need to have a plan and you need to stay connected with people that can help you. The reason why I make sure that Adrian is in my feed, because she constantly just gives free advice. It's just random out there. That's how I knew who to call. So, I mean, there are people that are willing to give you this information. And so that's why it is important to us this year. We're not leaving no sister behind. If you get left behind, it's because you chose to sit on down, but it ain't because we're not giving it to you. I want to make sure that we keep you surrounded with people that you can do life with. And I'm not talking about just here and there, that you can do life with. That's the same way we felt when we had the salons, is that people come to us for their life events and they're doing life with us right in the salon. And this is the same way. We are all a part of the community. We all are here to help and to provide that advice, whatever it is that you may need. And we are just so thankful that since we have transition Stiletto Talks, mainly our main base here in Arizona, that it has really been just outstanding. The attendance that we have, the connections that happen, that's what we need to see, because ultimately we see the lives of the women that engage with the Stiletto Talks improved by the guests and the people that we have that are part of the platform. So again, thank you all to saying yes to somebody you don't know, to somebody that you don't know. So I certainly appreciate that. The event is $20, and for $20, you're probably about to get $1,000 worth of information, and have access to these ladies and Brandon. That we got to include Brandon because he's not on here. I have to keep forgetting that Brandon, and for which is rare for us, we have a man on here, but obviously that's something else. You will start to see many of our events also having that male perspective in there, because sometimes that comes from a different perspective that you're not thinking about, right? So we also have vendors there. We do have of course, Kaneka will be there with Asia's Connections. Adrian, you have Cerita and Brandon, you have the Stiletto Talks will be there. We have a 15-year-old vendor, Yummy Pop Cosmetics. So here's a young entrepreneur that's doing her thing. And she recently won a pitch competition with National Coalition of 100 Black Women that I'm also a member of. And then we have Miss Patricia. Miss Patricia doesn't miss. So yes, the bubble bath will be pouring for all you all to relax after we've had these extended conversations. But again, we're here at the Tempe History Museum on Saturday from 11 to 3. And we're just looking forward to doing life together and making sure that everybody has what they need. Before we get off, because I want to make sure people know how to find you outside of this. Adrian, start with you and going in the same way. How do people stay connected with you and your company?
So I am found, you can find me on Facebook pretty much everywhere. My company, DNA Fin Solutions, and then my personal brand is The Adrian Trice on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm also pretty heavy on LinkedIn right now with posting my articles on finances, taxes, and my favorite chat GPT and all the technology. So yes, just follow along while we all grow together.
Awesome, Cerita.
I am heavy on Instagram. Like it might be my mode of choice, but you can find me on Instagram. It's at I am Cerita. That's IAMCERITA. I'm also on Facebook, Cerita Edwards. And you can find me, where else can you find me? I'm literally everywhere, but if you really want to find me, it's on Instagram. So find me there.
Kaneka.
And you can find me on Facebook at Ageless Connections. You can find me at Facebook at Kaneka the Geriatric Healthcare Provider, and Facebook as Kaneka the Real Estate at Sophisticated Real Estate. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty heavy, Kaneka Trotter, and then actually add my license credentials, my MSAJS, that pulls up the most recent LinkedIn. I don't know what's going on with that, but it shows that I'm hiring. So it's my face, this one, and just click on that one and I'll follow as well. So thank you.
Awesome. And then of course for us, if you're looking for the Stiletto Talks, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, follow our channel. Of course, this will be on there. We want you to go back and follow and see as much as you can from all the things that we've had. Of course, we have the podcast. It's everywhere on pretty much every channel under the Stiletto Talks as well. And then we're on Instagram under the Stiletto Talks. If you're looking for me, you can find me at Coach P. Hutch Motivates. And then, of course, on LinkedIn under my name, you always can find me under Paula Johnson Hutchinson. Not hard to find, not hard to find. But I thank you, ladies. Thank you for seeing the need, for answering the call, and for providing that extra clarity. We've been smiling and laughing the whole time, and we talking about money and discipline and wealth. So, I hope that everyone sees that when we talk about money, we talk about planning, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And I think culturally, we have gotten to this place that when you talk about this, something must be wrong. Something got to be wrong. Why are we talking about this? But we need to think about how can we stay ahead? How can we stay at a level that's a comfort level for us? Because we see that the pandemic came out of nowhere. And to be honest, we don't know what else will come up ahead. And if you are in your mid 40s like myself, of course, I'm looking at 50 in December, so it's staring me in the face. I'm trying not to look at it, but it's looking at me like, hey, girl. So I'm telling you, you need to think about if you know that you only have so many years left to work hard, or you're looking to not work as hard, you've made up your mind, you need to think about how would you do that? How do you get to that place? And so we certainly have the people in place that can hopefully help answer that, or at least point you and guide you in the right direction. And I like what Cerita said, if you've lost it all, because many of us have lost it all, you can get it back. And get back better than what you thought, because now you have the knowledge to get it back, because and you know how it feels. So, you really don't have anything to lose because you know what it feels to lose things. So don't let anything that you've lost stop you from getting what you need to have in your next season. And that's probably going to be the end of this right now. And that's the biggest takeaway I can tell you. Just don't let the past stop you from getting what's rightfully yours in the now or in the future. And so wealth is one of those things. It's not just for some, it's for all, but we must learn to have the discipline to obtain what that may look like for each and every one of us. Okay. So again, go to the website, thestilettotalks.com. The pop-up will instantly come across the screen. You can just click the button, and from there you can register for Saturday. All right. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, basketball moms. I know you are over there fighting a good fight, Adrian, over there with the taxes. I can't even imagine, but you look good.
Right?
But you look good. Because I know that people bringing paperwork at the last minute, that last receipt, right? So I can't imagine, but you got a smile on your face. You look good. Thank you. Again, I know y'all probably sitting like, I need to feed my kids. They just got out of basketball practice. They probably hungry. But again, I appreciate you all so much. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Saturday, March 25th, 11 to 3. We'll be on Rural Road at the Tempe History Museum.
Oh, thank you guys. Have a great night.
You
Bye,
too.
guys. See you soon.
All right then.